Well, hello, hello, hello. Let me just mute that. Right, I don't know if I'm live or not. I think I might be. The chat's certainly live. I don't know if I am or not. Uh, let's see. Is the audio mix? Oh, the audio mixer's working. That means you should be able to probably hear me and probably see me. We'll have a look in the chat just to make sure. There's only two of us in, me and you, Surly. Oh, there you are. So if you could just confirm that you can hear me, okay, and see me, of course, then I'll be happy with that. And I'll just do a wee test and see if I can make anything. Oh, there you go. So I can make things pop up tonight, right? But I won't say any more until I've got a bit of confirmation that I can be heard and seen, because I'm not sure. It looks good from my end, but I don't know how it looks from your end. So while I wait for a reply telling me that I can be seen and heard, I'll just have a wee drink of tonic water. Keep looking up there. I forget that you're right there and I need to look at you. I don't want to be like Marty Blackburrow when he does his audit videos and he's like this all the time. Welcome back. Right? Instead of actually looking at the audience. Right, I've got 6 watching, but I need to know if you can see me and hear me. Because if you can't, I'm wasting my time. I've done something wrong and I need to correct it. So if you can just give me a bit of confirmation. Say hello to everyone in chat. Let's not make Rob feel like he's talking to himself. I kind of think I am talking to myself because I'm still waiting in confirmation that you can hear me and see me. Right, now I don't know if you're being sarcastic or if there is something actually wrong with my audio setup. Only kidding. Thank you. Right, okay, now that I've got that out of the way, what I can do is I can get my own face out of the way because that just confuses me. Good. And right, and I'll take that back down there. That's actually, do you know something, Surly? I'm going to pin that comment there. That's if I can. Can I pin that comment? I should be able to. Your comment, because I quite like that. Let's see if I can pin it. Pin message. Boom. There you go. Nice. Right, so, because that is a good thing for me to say, even better that you have said it. So there are 6 people. How many people have we got watching? I'm all over the place tonight because I've got some more screens set up than I had on Sunday night when I did the call-in show because I've got a few more things going on here. 6 concurrent viewers. I don't know if that means that there are 6 people here. What does that say? Warning, please configure both primary and backup streams correctly. The comparison of the streams. I don't know what that means, so I'm just going to ignore it. Right, so 6 watching now. Not a huge amount, but it's okay. And 1 of you in the chat, at least 1 of you with the bollocks to put something in the chat. And I thought that auditors were the ones who were supposed to have the big man-sized or elephant-sized balls who were not afraid to go up and get in the face of anyone. But here we are, possibly 4 or 5 auditors in the channel just sitting there like wee mice, not even squeaking. Right? So where are the big elephant balls that they are supposed to have? Yes, well, I don't think they have. So I have no subject matter planned tonight, no topic other than a discussion about auditors, but it's not a discussion really on my opinion that I wanted to have tonight. I think most people who are familiar with my main channel, which is just a small channel, are familiar also with my view on auditors. But I was hoping to expand that opinion a bit tonight by interacting with some auditors or auditor fans, auditor haters, or people who are nonplussed, who don't give a shit either way. I think I can say words that I wouldn't get away with on my main channel tonight, because this channel here, Audit Reaction, is not monetized. Okay, I don't get any ad revenue or any sponsorships or anything from this. So I think I can get away with saying things that might have the ad revenue disabled on my main channel. So I might be a bit freer with my language tonight if the debate gets going, which I'm not sure that it's going to tonight. Let me have a drink of this. I'm not sure the debate is going to get going tonight, because to have a debate, it takes two sides. Rather than me just spouting off a load of nonsense, it takes a bit of interaction, and everybody gets their turn in a debate. But I don't want to actually give my full detailed opinion on auditors just yet. If no if no one else comes into the chat to have a talk about this, then I may very well give my full and unedited opinion on auditors. But not yet. I'd like to hear from other people. So, and I know it's difficult to have a free-flowing debate in a setup like this, because I can speak, but you, the audience, the viewers, have to type your opinions. And the reason for that tonight is, and it's not a call-in show where people can actually speak to me like I did on Sunday night, is because auditing is a very controversial subject, and it's full of very colourful characters. And I didn't want to, on the very first live stream, have a call-in show where I might have been bombarded with people who want to, let's say, troll me and shout and bawl on the live stream and maybe just bring it down. So for this one, I decided I would just leave it as chat, live stream chat, for people to share their opinions by text, by messaging, by typing in the chat. And if it goes well and there's no one that I have to kick, then next time, because I intend to do this every week, then next time I might include a call-in section of the channel. And if that goes well, the following week, that call-in section of the channel might be a bit longer. And if it goes well and I don't get, anyone who's really trolling so badly that I need to kick them, that the whole show may become a call-in, right? But for tonight, it's just chat, which is difficult, I know. So, Adventures with Sog has popped in. Hello, Adventures with Sog. Can I pop you up there? Yes, I can. So that's two of you who are in the chat now, at least that I know. That I know can respond. There are, according to this, I don't know. I think it looks like 5 now. I'm not sure. But I'll have a look at your chat, and it says, right, so Surly Dave has said that you used to enjoy watching certain auditor channels, but when you started to recognise the pattern of them agitating the situation, you started to get bored of them. That's a great point. I'll leave your comment up there for the moment while I answer that. And let me tell you, pattern of watching audit channels is probably similar to mine and similar to a lot of people who started to watch and then kind of stopped. I have always been about freedom, about transparency, about accountability. And I am not a fan of the police, and I am not a fan of governmental bodies who use their power to better themselves and their friends, in particular at the expense of the little man, who I include among those, and women too. I'm just using man as human. So when I first heard about auditors, it was a long time ago, and it was only really in America. And it became about there probably because of the George Floyd incident. That's when people then started carrying camera phones everywhere and recording the police all of the time. And I think the auditing movement, which was really called First Amendment auditing, happened in the United States. And that happened easily over there because they have a constitution and they have the First Amendment, which allows free speech, and that includes allowing the filming of anyone from a public place, including governmental officials and police and things like that. And I started watching them all and enjoyed them because they were focused on police accountability and governmental bodies accountability, not just about the rights to film in public, right? That came about a lot later, but it was first about holding the police in particular accountable for their actions, and I agree with that 100%. And I still think to this day, everyone who has any interaction with the police themselves should not say a word until they have their phone out and they are recording the entire confrontation or interaction with the police. I also think that if you're travelling past an incident where the police are involved, then it's your absolute right and perhaps even your duty, if no one else is doing it, to stop and start filming, because the police, in my opinion, and I'm not saying 100% of the police, but all of the police that I have interaction with, and I've interacted with a lot of police because I used to work in a job that I was actually training officers, and I worked very closely with a lot of them. And I can't give you a percentage, but it's certainly more than 50%. So that means the majority of the police that I know are corrupt in one way or another, right? It's their own club, and they will protect the members of that club against everyone else, and they will lie to do it if necessary. So I believe in filming the police, okay? And that's where auditing started, particularly in the United States. It was then picked up by UK content creators. And it started out with filming at police stations and filming police, and that was fine. And I think what happened is the content creators that were doing this saw that there was a massive audience for this. Their channels blew up, within days of creating them, and within days of posting the first video. That's because of human nature. Humans like to watch a confrontation. They like to see, it's like you see a crash on the road. Everyone will rubberneck, slow down and have a look at it. Everyone likes to see something out of the ordinary, something controversial, something dangerous. So there's a massive audience because of the human psyche to watch confrontational videos. And I think that the original auditors who wanted to film the police and governmental bodies for accountability realised that this is a very easy way to get clicks and views. All I have to do really is create a confrontation and film it and Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, I've got a massive audience. YouTube pays for clicks and views. Oh, we're quids in. And that's when auditing changed from police and governmental accountability into creating confrontation for the sole purpose of obtaining clicks and views to get ad revenue. And they were probably thinking at the time sponsorships and deals with companies. I'll get into that a bit later, about how that just doesn't happen. So it was at that point where I started to be annoyed and disappointed with the auditing community, if you want to call them that, who now had moved away from the very valid practice of filming the police and governmental bodies to hold them accountable and showing these videos on YouTube or whatever platform that they happen to use, showing it to wider public, which is a good thing. And it moved away from that into creating a confrontation with anyone that they could, because it was the confrontation that was giving them the clicks and views, and not the fact that they were holding the police accountable. And that's where I start to have the disagreement with the auditors. They've lost their original meaning and point of auditing. And I'm talking about auditing in the sense of filming in public. And that's why I am now anti. I'm not anti-audit. I'm anti the auditors who go out publicly and create a confrontation for no reason other than clicks and views instead of accountability. That was a lot. But I started that by saying to Surly Dev that it sounds to me like you probably come from the same place, and that's maybe why you have gone off them as well. In addition to the fact that they're all the same now. Every video that each audit content creator produces is the same as the last one they produced. And every channel is producing the exact same videos that they're all producing. So if you've seen one, you've seen them all. And that gets a bit boring too, despite the fact that they still have large audiences, large number of clicks and views, because once again, the human psyche wants to see confrontation, wants to see it safely. Most people haven't been in fights throughout their lives, so they feel safe watching on YouTube, watching an almost fight happening, a confrontation where they can sit and their adrenaline will pump up and they'll get heartbeat and they'll feel that adrenaline surge just by watching it safely from their own home. So that's why there's a big audience for it. Let me have a look at your comments, because that was a lot I spoke about there. So that's why your comment, Surly Dev, is still up there. That you started to recognise the pattern of them agitating the situation. You started to get bored of them. So I think I've covered. Right, Adventures with Sog said, auditors would have you believe security guards are little tyrants, but I do urbexing, so have been caught a few times by them, and the vast majority are actually very decent people. The last bit of your wee comments been cut off. Let me just see if I can adjust that slightly so that all of the comments can be seen. No, I can't. That's the biggest the box. Oh no, wait a minute. Yeah, I can. I can do it by adjusting the width. Let's try 1600 instead of 1400. There we go. That's better. See all this technical stuff I'm doing. I had forgotten how to do all this because some of you will know that I got COVID and it was very mild, just like a cold, and it was no problem. But after I became clear of COVID, I was hit with long COVID, and it really affects your brain and your memory, and I forgot how to do all of these things, but it's slowly coming back now. I've had a wee bit of a health boost, which I don't want to talk about tonight. That's something I'll save for my other channel, and I'll maybe talk about that there. But I now remember how to do all these things. But there you go. So SOG says, auditors will have you believe security guards are little tyrants, but I do urbexing, and so have been caught a few times by them, and the vast majority are actually pretty decent people. I would agree with that. I know quite a few security guards, and they're just ordinary guys. They're guys who applied for a job because they needed work, and the type of security job that they're doing suits their lifestyle very well. They just want to get on with their job. They don't want to have a confrontation with anyone. They don't want to be rolling about in the ground with anyone. They're just ordinary guys, and I find that all of the security guards that I know are decent guys. It's the police that have a bloated opinion of their own importance, and they're the ones that you have to really watch out for. So filming security guards isn't for me. I don't see the point in that. It's not making them accountable. They're just ordinary guys on usually minimum wage, just trying to do a job without, getting themselves into any hassle. Whereas the police go out of their way to overpower the public in almost every circumstance. They throw their authority about, sometimes authority that they don't actually have. They'll throw their weight about, and they know that most people will just bow down and kowtow to them. Security guards are a different kettle of fish. They're not like that at all. Okay. And I know I'm highlighting Surly Dev and SOG's messages, but all of you are you're the only guys in, apart from Scotland from above, who says hello from Newcomnock, and I'll put the message up just in a second, has popped in as well. But there you go. Surly Dev says that place was one I had worked in the past, and they'd expanded, and I was curious how it looked from above. Right, he'd previously been visited by an auditor, but the video never aired. He didn't kick off. Right. Oops. Aye, you'll find that unless you are purposely trying to push the buttons of a security guard or an employee at the place you're filming, then they're not going to react. I'll get on to how I approach situations where I want to film somewhere that has security guards at the gate, for example, right? I'll talk about that in a minute. And there's one place in particular that I'll talk about that has been visited by an auditor who got his usual reaction because he went there with the plan to get a reaction, and he got it. And it's a place that I've filmed at many times. So I'll speak about that later on if I remember. But I want to bring up Scotland from above. It says, hello from Newcomnock. Hello, Scotland from above. And I think, are your initials NW? I'm not sure if that's you or not, and I won't say your name, but are your initials NW if you're from Newcomnock? Oh, I didn't even mean to put that up. It says, anyone working shouldn't have to put up with these lowlifes. Yeah, you're right. As I said, well, I didn't say, but another thing is that the employees at the places that many auditors, almost all auditors go or went, because it's changed. Auditors have changed, and I'll speak about that in a minute as well. But the places that auditors have traditionally gone to are full of ordinary people, just ordinary guys and girls, women and men, who just want to work. They go in there, 9 to 5, they just want to get their heads down, earn their crust, get through their day and get home without any stress or as little stress as possible while they're at their work. If they have to put up with some guy at, at, at the fence, sticking a camera through it and shouting at them, "Hoi, hoi, where's your high-vis jacket? You're letting fumes out. I'm going to report you," you know. And they go up to find out what this is all about. It means that that person, that ordinary person, somebody's dad, somebody's mum, somebody's brother, somebody's sister, somebody's son, somebody's daughter, is now going to have stomach churning, go home, probably be in a bad mood, affect everybody else round about them when they get home, might not sleep very well that night, might have continuing depressing symptoms. That one instant can have massive repercussions for that person and their family and everyone round about them. These auditors, I don't think, take that into account. Maybe they do, they just don't care. All they care about is, I got the confrontation on film, I post it, I get my clicks and views, and fuck you, Mrs. Crybaby, who's now away home crying and has to call in sick because you're so depressed you can't come to work. I don't give a shit. I got my clicks and views, so fuck you. That's kind of the attitude of the auditor nowadays, and that for me it just doesn't work, because as I said, most people don't know how to fight, don't know how to defend themselves. So when a confrontation like that happens, they just get hit inside emotionally and end up, you know, living with that. And it's not fair and it's not right, especially if your reason for it is just clicks and views. You know, maybe a wee bit of ad revenue, and I'll come on to how they don't actually make much anyway. But to get some kind of, look at me, I've got a channel with over 100,000, 200,000 subscribers. I must be a fantastic creator. They're not fantastic creators, and I'll come on to that, and I'll name one particular auditor in a minute, if I remember. I should be taking notes down, because I'll keep forgetting. I'll take notes. Right. Remember to mention audits and how his channel is bad content. Right, I'll remember that. And what was the other thing I was going to get back to? I'll maybe say ad revenue. I'll maybe talk about that. Oh, and the other thing is, what's the name of that place? Oh, Egger plant. Right, so see, this is what I should have done. I should have had all of this planned beforehand, like I normally do on my main channel. I'll have an agenda and I'll go through it. But tonight I decided I would be guided by the conversation in the chat, and I would just go wherever that leads. And that's why I'm now adding things to my memo here that I can bring back up after I've had another wee look at the chat. Right. Okay, let's see. Silly Dev says, Robert, have a look back at the video around about 23 minutes in, and there's a weird audio situation where it keeps dipping out every 5 or 6 seconds for a quarter of a second. This audio here tonight. Is this what you're talking about? Right. Okay. That's not good. I'm using a different mic setup tonight. It's this little one here, and it's a wireless mic. It's not wired. I'm trying it out to see how it is, but if you're telling me that it's dipping in and out every 5 or 6 seconds, that's not good. So I'll take a wee note of that. Look back at around 23 minutes, did you say? A few minutes for audio dipping. Thanks for that. Thanks for letting me know. I will have a look back. Somebody said, I saw a wee comment that somebody said quite good there. where it is. Right, Sog said a wee while back, filming the police is one thing, but antagonising them for the sake of it is where auditing has gone wrong in the UK. Yeah, for the same reason that the auditor will go to an industrial estate, for example, or an office building. It's to create a confrontation, antagonise anyone that they can find to get a reaction, to film, to put on YouTube. And now, if any of them do film the police, it's not to hold them accountable. It's to try to antagonise them into giving a reaction and maybe even committing an unlawful act so that they can then sue the police and get a couple of grand here or there for that. So that is the main reason that the auditor will now film the police, whereas it should be for accountability. Okay. Right. I'm going to say public, right? I'm not going to pronounce that the way that you probably intended. I'm going to say public. Says that I gave the best advice with playing the copyrighted music. There's been a lot of controversy about that. Basically from the auditors, they are outraged and enraged that I created that video, and they all say it doesn't work. There's software, there's applications that can remove music. None of them know what they're talking about. They are all talking nonsense. I am a retired music producer. I have been a music producer or I was. Well, I still am, because I still produce Ellie's tracks, and so I am still a music producer, and I have been I'm now 63. I have been involved in the music production world since I was 18. Do the math yourself. 45 years. For 45 years I've been a music producer. I work with audio. It's my bread and butter, right? I'm a musician as well. I play a multitude of instruments, from guitars, mandolin, banjo, keyboards, bass guitars. I still play today. I've played in bands, I've played at festivals all over the world. I have been a frontman, singer for bands. I've played solo, I've played in duos. I am the one that has created all of the music, put the sets together, produced all the music. I know what I'm talking about. The auditor doesn't. If someone plays copyrighted music from a device, a boombox, a phone, whatever, in the presence of an auditor who is filming that interaction, then the video will be copyright struck, and that music cannot be removed, because that music is part of the entire audio. It's not a separate track. Like, they can't separate the tracks and say, right, we'll remove the music track and leave the audio from the mic intact, because that mic is picking up the music. So they don't know what they're talking about. I do. If you play copyrighted music, particularly anything for Disney, Disney just will not have it. There are other bands like the Eagles, they'll not have it. And so there are many bands that are very, very quick. It's not the bands themselves, it's the bands publishing companies are very quick to come down on that, and they will put in a copyright claim to the auditor's video, which means that it's any monetisation, any money, ad revenue, which there's hardly any, and I'll talk about that in a second, but any ad revenue that is made from that video goes to the publishing company of that copyrighted music. Now, if there are any auditors listening or watching would like to argue with me about that, please feel free, and I will exclusively argue with you about that. But let me tell you up front, if you come into an argument with me about that and you don't know what you're talking about, I'll shred you. I'll make you look like the idiot that you actually are. So if you don't have big elephant balls like you claim to have, you better just zip it and stay quiet. If you think you can argue with me, please feel free. I'll be more than happy to put you in the ground, stomp you around and ragdoll you a wee bit, okay? Right. So Scotland from above, if that's yes to your initials being NW, hello, how you doing? Absolutely love the stuff that you put up onto Facebook. It's terrific. I love it. And of course, I've been to all of the locations that you post up there. Your photos and your videos are fantastic. I'd give you a plug, but I can't think of your well, your channel's probably Scotland from above. There you go. So if anyone likes scenic views of Scotland from drones, I do that on my main channel, Windswept Robert. But videos are presented differently from mine, but they're just as good, if not better, than mine. So go and have a look at this. Okay, Stevie, I'll get to your comments in a minute. It's starting to pick up a little bit now. There are more people coming in, and I'm not limited tonight to an hour because I don't have to get out of here because the Drone Seekers International comes on at 8. So I don't actually have a time to come out of the chat. So I'm happy to sit and natter here as long as there are people in here who want to natter back with me. I just want to check and see how many people I've got in, if I can tell. 13 it says here, that's fine. Right. Okay, well there's a lot of comments coming in. So Pubelic says DGE and AB latest Swindon video had one of the women boyfriend contact just gone viral. Don't quite follow exactly what you're saying there. If it's the DJE Media and AB, if their video have gone viral, or if it's the woman's boyfriend's video that's just gone viral. Here's the thing about DJE, I'm sure a lot of you know this. DJE Media, Curtis Arnold, is a horror of a man. A horror of a man. He has a sexual harm prevention order out on him just now. He denies this completely, but Street Video Reviewer, a channel who exposes auditors, has made a couple of videos that go in depth about DJE Media Curtis Arnold. He tries to call himself Daniel Edward. He changed his name to try and escape his past, his history, his criminal history. But his name is Curtis Arnold. And Street Video Reviewer showed the court documents. He's an ex-lawyer, and he applied directly to the judge of Curtis Arnold's case or cases. He's been convicted multiple times of multiple offences, and Street Video Reviewer applied to the judge for the documents, and he published the documents on his channel. Not only the documents, but word for word what the judge said when she was passing sentence on Curtis Arnold. So it's absolutely true. Curtis Arnold at DJE Media can deny it as much as he likes. It's true. Okay, the documents don't lie. So he's a horror of a man, and the reason I mention that is because he is one of the biggest UK auditors, and he has a fan base who adore him. So that makes me ask, just what kind of people are these fans of auditors? Never mind the auditors themselves, who are horrendous people. Just what kind of people are the fans who will idolise and follow a man who has done such horrific things and been convicted of them? It just says something to me about that whole world of auditing, which includes the fans and the viewers of auditing videos. Okay, so enough said about that at the moment, because that, what he has done, mate, and I'm not going to go into it. If you want to know what he's done, watch Street Video Reviewers videos, or just do a Google search. In fact, wait till I'll show you this. I'll flick my screen. Let me bring up a blank page, a Google page, and let's see if I can flick my screen. I think I can. Right, so don't just take my word for it. Don't take Street Video Reviewers' word for it by the videos that he's posted up. Just Google it yourself, and you can go through it and you'll find his history. And it's true. He makes videos denying all of it, saying he's been misrepresented and it's lies from an ex-girlfriend and stuff like that. He's a liar. Anyway, right, where was I? Scotland from Above has reminded me to speak about this. Are you talking about Egger, the guy who did Audit a year ago or something like that? I was there that day. Really, I'd be very, very interested in having a private chat with you. If you want to email me, you can email me at windsweprobert@gmail.com, or you can message me on Facebook, because I know we are friends, Facebook friends. Send me a message, email me, and we can maybe meet up for a coffee or a beer, would be even better, and have a chat maybe over the next couple of days or whatever. So, if you want to, you don't have to. If you'd like to, give me a wait, because I'd love to talk about that if you were there that day. So because of that, because Scotland from Above was there that day that it happened, I'm not going to talk any more about that incident. What I'll do is I'll hopefully either meet up with Scott from Above for a beer or a coffee and a chat, or we'll do some private messaging and I'll get some more info and I can speak about it next week, because I'm going to be doing this live stream every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. And I'll still be doing my other 2 live streams from my other channel, one on a Saturday at 2 o'clock from out in the field where the drones camera will be part of the live stream, and on a Sunday night at 7 where it'll be a call-in show where you can actually call in free and speak with me on air. So NW, get in touch and we'll have a wee chat about that. That's very, very interesting. I didn't know you were there that day, so that's excellent. Thank you if you want to get in touch with me. Okay. Certainly, Rev's talking about that audio issue that we had. I switched over to computer and it wasn't doing it. Came back to iPad and it seems to have stopped now. So it's possible that it's your end and not mine. This happens quite a lot. Some people in the chat will say, I can't hear your mic, it's too low, or you're muted, or whatever. And other people in the chat will say, no, I can hear them just fine. It's the sound is clear. So oftentimes it's something at your end. I'm fairly technically minded, and I set this whole thing. I wish I could show you all of my screens. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screens at the moment with all connected with this live stream at the moment, and I set it all up myself. The way I can switch from, I can do hold Windows to here. I can even switch the backgrounds. If I'm doing my Windswept Robert live stream, for example, then it'll be that one. And I can show you my screen, some of my other screens, if I want to. So I keep forgetting that you're there. I am fairly technically minded, having set all of this up myself and set up my own wireless network. So if there's an audio issue, it's usually your end, not mine. And I'm hoping that that's what it is tonight. Right, Rob JW7250, hello and welcome in. I think this is the first time I've said hello to you, Rob. DJE, let's just call him Curtis Arnold. That's his name. Curtis Arnold is that wrapped up in his own ego, he just has no awareness. The man will do anything for fame, anything. And some of the things that he's done for fame, and I don't want to go into it, but if you search for Curtis Arnold and Nicola Bulley on Google, and I hope you have a strong stomach, you'll find some information, some of the sick things that man has done. And Rob also says that most auditors are on benefits. I wouldn't be surprised, Rob, but I have no way of confirming that, other than some of the auditors themselves have let that slip on some of their own videos. But other than that, I couldn't possibly say that most of them are, although I wouldn't dispute that. And that brings me quite nicely, I think, to the topic of ad revenue. And I've spoken about this quite a few times on some of the audit videos I've produced, which are no longer on my Windswept Robert channel. They're now on this channel, Audit Reaction. I took them all down from Windswept Robert and put them all up here. There is a reason behind that, which I explained on my Windswept Robert live stream on, excuse me, sorry about that, on Sunday night, so I won't repeat myself. If you want to know the reason that I removed all of the audit type videos from the Windswept Robert channel, then go and watch Windswept Robert live stream from Sunday night where I explain it all. And I've lost my track again as usual. I've got it back again. So most auditors, according to Rob, or Rob's opinion, is that they're on benefits, and I certainly know that some are, because they have admitted that or let it slip themselves on some of their videos. So here's the thing. Having a YouTube channel with tens or even hundreds of thousands of subscribers, posting videos that get tens or hundreds of thousands of views, why is it that some auditors who fall into that category of large channels with a large number of views have to claim benefits? And here's the reason why. Because ad revenue from YouTube videos doesn't work the way that most people think it works. It's not based on the number of subscribers you have. Subscribers have nothing to do with ad revenue, zero. As long as you've got 1,000 subscribers, and a couple of other things you need, but as long as you've got 1,000 subscribers, you can apply to join the YouTube monetization or the YouTube partner program, which then allows your channel and videos on your channel to be monetized. So there's no difference in obtaining ad revenue from a channel that has 1,000 subscribers and a channel that has 1 million subscribers. No difference. Subscribers do not matter once you hit 1,000. Views. This video I posted says one of the auditors had just got 70,000 views in one day. Ha ha ha. You, Windswept Robert or / Audit Reaction, posted a video where you got 100 views. Ha 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 ha. Well, it's ha 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 to you, not to me, and I'll tell you why. Ad revenue is based not on number of views, it's based on AVD, the average view duration of the video, CTR, the click-through rate of that thumbnail attached to the video, and RPM, rate per mille, that's M-I-L-L-E, and that means per 1,000. The rate that you are paid per 1,000 views for that video. Those are the three things that determine the ad revenue on a YouTube channel video. Nothing to do with subscribers and nothing to do with views. The rate per mil on a typical auditor video is extremely low. It's tiny. It's almost nothing. The rate per mil on a channel like Windswept Robert it's not extremely high, but it's a hell of a lot higher, maybe 5,000 times higher than the auditor rate per mil. The average view duration on an auditor video, the average view duration percentage watched is very, very low, because they will often post up a 30-minute video, sometimes even longer, which only has approximately 5 minutes watched, because most people who watch those videos will skim through the entire video till they find the little confrontation, then they will watch that confrontation. As soon as that's finished, they will click away. So the average view duration is very, very small as well. So you've got a small AVD, you've got a very small RPM. So the amount that a video from an auditor earns has to have hundreds of thousands of views to make the same amount of ad revenue that a channel like mine, my main channel, Windswept Robert, makes with 2,000 views. Also, a channel like mine will make a certain amount of money, ad revenue, constantly. It's called evergreen content. I have videos posted from 4 years ago that still make ad revenue to this day. They're still getting views, they're still making ad revenue. Whereas an auditor's old videos don't make any ad revenue because they don't get any views. People watch the latest upload, and that's it. They'll wait for the next one. So the auditor has to post every single day, and he has to hope for at least 50,000 views on every single video just to make the same amount of ad revenue that one video of mine that I post once a week gets with 1,000 views. So there's that. So they're not making much money at all. The amount of work that they're putting in is far, far more than they're receiving back. Their hourly rate is probably about 50p, with the amount of hours that they put into travelling to the place and back, filming while they're there, the minimal amount of editing that they do. If you add up all of those hours for the revenue, ad revenue they're getting, they're probably on about 50p an hour. And the second thing is that an auditing channel will not receive sponsorship deals from a legitimate company, a responsible company, because no responsible company wants their adverts, wants to sponsor them and have their product mentioned in one of these horrible videos. So there's no sponsorship deals for auditors. And the other thing is, if you watch an auditor video all the way through, it's very rare that you'll see an advert on there. And the reason for that is that because advertisers don't bid to put their adverts on audit videos, because they don't want their adverts going out to that type of person that watches it who's very unlikely to buy their product. And that's the final nail in the coffin. It means that the companies that actually do put an advert on an auditing video have made an extremely low bid to get that placement, to get that ad placement, because there's hardly any company is bidding. So they can bid very low. So that means that any auditing video that does have an advert in there, their share of that ad revenue is going to be tiny, because the bid for that advert was very, very small. So there's not much money in auditing, right? Even if you're making a video that produces 100,000 views, and the amount of work you're doing to do it, like posting 5 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week, is ridiculous, a ridiculous hourly rate. So that's probably why, as was it Public that said it? I think it was Public that said it. In Public's opinion, most auditors are on benefits. That's why. Right, so I can scrub that out, ad revenue. I've done that one. Now, if any auditor would like to, who's listening to this chat, would like to argue with me about that, you better bring the proof. You better be prepared to show your analytics that show your RPM, your AVD, and any sponsorship deals or advertising deals that you have. Because if you're going to come on and just blather and say that you earn loads and loads, and some of you are going to say, I saw a video where DJ Audits showed his phone to someone showing that he was making thousands and thousands. Don't trust that. That guy has his own business and he inherited a shitload of money from his gran when she died. And he has the ability to put up thousands and thousands of pounds on a screen and make it look as if that's coming from his YouTube channel, when it's just not. Okay. It was Rob. It was Rob, not Public. It was Rob that said most auditors made it. So there you go, Rob. I can't necessarily agree with you that, or agree or disagree that it's most auditors, because I don't have any evidence of that, but there are certainly some, and that my explanation of how the ad revenue works might go some way to explaining that. Okay. Rob doesn't like auditors, says they're all thick as too short blanks. The impression that they give when they are out and about filming is not putting themselves in the best intellectual light. Let's just say that, okay? I wouldn't be surprised if some of them struggle to read and write. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. My final career before I retired for 15 years was working with adults in the community who are either dyslexic or couldn't read and write or count, because they just never learned those skills. And my job was to work with them and either find ways to support them with their inability to read and write, or to teach them to read and write and count. So I have great sympathy for people who find themselves in a position where, for whatever reason, they may not have attended school for whatever reason, they may be dyslexic, or they may just have an other literacy issue. I have great sympathy for them, and I am not saying that just because some auditors seem to not to be able to read, that makes them thick. It doesn't. It's the other things that they do and say that seem to make them thick. Let's just get that clear. Stevie, at last, you posted a while ago. I'm just getting round to your comment now. Stevie says, good evening, Robert. Sorry I'm late. I'm just back in from a very long day. Hope it was okay, Stevie. Hope everything goes all right. We can maybe have a wee chat later on Facebook Messenger if you fancy it. And if there's, you know, if you want to talk about anything, I'm your pal. You've been there to support me when I really needed someone. So if you've got trouble, let me know and I'll do my best to support you. Surly Dev says, I've uploaded a video of a hypnosis show onto YouTube so that a participant could watch it, and it obviously had copyright music. It gave me an option to remove the music. It did a very good job. Yes, I suspect that the music was on a separate track, and it wasn't music that was filmed from the auditor's mic itself. Having said that, link me to it. Send me the link. Either message me or email me, windsweatrobert@gmail.com. Email me with the link to that video. Because just because you say that the copyrighted music was removed very well, doesn't make it so. I am a skeptic. I'm sceptical by nature. And I'm actually a member of the James Randi Educational Foundation. And as part of that, I don't anymore, I'm kind of semi-retired from that, but I used to expose fraudulent claims, mainly about the paranormal. But however, I am sceptical of your claim that it did a very good job, or certainly good enough to make the video unable to be copyright claimed. So if you'd like to show me the evidence by linking that video in an email to me, I'll have a look at it. And if you're right on next week's show, I will say so. I will say that I've reviewed your video, I've looked at it, I've looked at it before, when the copyright music was there, and I've looked at after, and I've looked at whatever application it was that you used, might have been YouTube itself, to remove that video, and I'll give my analysis and summary. Don't forget, I'm a music producer. Audio is my bread and butter, so I'll know what's happened. I'll know how if it has been manipulated, how it has been manipulated. Okay. Oh. Right, we're fleeing on here. Oh, Public says, hi, G. Rossi. G. Rossi, are you in? I must have missed you popping in. For anyone who I haven't popped up their comment or said hello to, I apologise for having missed you. Tony Sutton. Hi, Tony. I'm sure you've been in my the Windsweat Robert live chat a few times. Has said here, Charlie Veach, another wrong'un. That, you make a good point. This was something that I wanted to talk about, not Charlie Veach in particular, but Charlie Veach's style. So I'm going to do that now, and I'll leave this comment up on the screen just to remind me. Look at the time there, that's 8:05, so I've actually been on over an hour. And I don't feel like I have to rush off yet. So if you're all happy with me just to blather on a little bit more, I'll stay on a little bit longer and blather a little bit more. Because these topics are interesting, aren't they? So Charlie Veach, for those of you who don't know, Charlie Veach is a Scotsman who doesn't live in Scotland, he lives in England. I don't know where he lives, it might be Manchester, I'm not sure. But his shtick is to wander around city centres, particularly Manchester, and film usually what I would call vulnerable people. People who are either addicted to alcohol or addicted to drugs or homeless or have mental health issues. He picks on them by making sure that they know he is sticking a camera in their direction and filming them. This obviously generates confrontation, particularly with people who have mental health issues. They don't, that can upset them really, really badly. So Charlie Veitch will wander about and do that. Now, I believe he is competent in some form of martial art. I'm not sure what it is, right? I'm ex-military. I was trained in hand-to-hand combat. Many different forms of the martial arts, including sword fencing, by the way. I'm quite the sword fencer, or I was back when I was younger. So I can recognise that he has had some training. He's not just a scrapper. And what he'll do is he'll wander about the city centres, Manchester in particular, filming vulnerable people until one will react and come towards him in an angry manner, and then he will usually lash out with his foot, kicking them usually in the stomach or the chest, and the people that he assaults or he claims that he is defending himself against an attack are generally skinny and very low weight and low bone density, because they're usually addicts who are malnourished, because any money that they have, they will prefer to buy their choice of whatever addiction it is that they have in preference to food. So they're malnourished, their bone density is low, they're very light people, you could pick them up with one hand. But he's a big strapping guy, this Charlie Veitch, and he'll lash out with his big boot and plant it right in their stomach, knocking them flat in their back all the time. A lot of elderly people he'll do this to as well. And he is doing this purely for clicks, confrontation for clicks and views, exactly the same as the auditor. So he is an auditor. Although he may not be classed as an auditor the way that other auditors are, he's doing the exact same shtick. Auditing is basically going out with a camera to cause a confrontation to gain clicks and views for social media. That's basically what auditing is. So Charlie Veitch is an auditor under that description. He has now taken at least one person. He takes one person along with him as a bodyguard, sometimes two, because on occasion he has been approached by multiple people that he has been filming who want, for whatever reason, they want the video, the photographs deleted from his phone. Now, technically and lawfully, Charlie Veitch is allowed to film whatever he can see in public. But there's no reason for him to do what he's doing other than to cause a confrontation, hopefully have someone react in a way that either he or his bodyguards can claim self-defence by attacking the person, making great viewing, right? Because going back to one of my first points, the human psyche, we like to see confrontation. Why? I don't know, but we do. It's something genetic. We maybe like to see other people being hurt, because it means that if that person's being hurt, I'm not being hurt, I'm safe. So it gives a sense of good feeling to see someone else being hurt, because it means that you're not. There are people who enjoy watching people get hurt though. So that's Charlie Veitch. That's who he is. That's his shtick. That's what he does. And he's a wrong'un. You're absolutely right, Tony. He's a wrong'un. You can Google him as well and look at the accounts of his ex-girlfriend, who explains. I don't know if she has a YouTube channel. I think she has TikTok and maybe Instagram, and she has posted videos explaining exactly how she and I believe one of her children were treated when she was in a relationship with Charlie Veitch. It's not pleasant, okay? So there's another example of one of these auditors, people who go out with a camera looking for confrontation, for clicks and views. Another example of an auditor who is a wrong'un, okay? And Curtis Arnold, DJE Media, and Charlie Veitch are not the only ones. There are many, many wrong-uns among that lot. So thanks, Tony, for bringing that up, because that allowed me to talk about this. Auditing is changing, not with everyone, but you'll find that some auditors, Curtis Arnold in fact comes to mind, are now shifting from going out to industrial sites, to office buildings, to police stations. They're now going into city centres and following the Charlie Veitch method. Because it's dead easy, you just turn up. You don't have to find industrial sites and then try your best, maybe for half an hour, to get someone to come up to you. Because people are not reacting anymore. People aren't coming up to the fence. Security guards are not coming out to argue anymore. So that's not working for the auditor anymore. So they can go to any town, any city centre with a camera, walking about, point a camera at someone, particularly a vulnerable person, you'll get a reaction. It's easy. So a lot of them are starting to do that now, okay? So if you live in a large town or a city and you see one of these auditors walking about filming you, the best thing to do is just walk on by and ignore them, right? Because they are looking for you to react. That's what they want. If no one reacts to them, they don't have any content, and the meagre amount of ad revenue that they make will become zero. So thanks, Tony, for allowing me to speak about that, about the way that the auditors are changing their shtick now. And you'll probably see this reflected if you are one of the people who happen to watch audit channels on a regular basis. You'll probably see that change happening. I'm usually quite good at predicting what's going to be happening later on in the world of YouTube and drones and different things. So that's starting to happen now, and I think you're going to see a lot more of it. So there is, Graham, hello. I don't know when you posted that comment, probably an hour ago. Hello, how are you doing? Nice to see you in here. It's nice to see some familiar faces from my Windswept Robert live streams. Right. Public says, I have read every bit of his court transcripts and I was shocked, I was gobsmacked. I don't know if you're talking about Curtis Arnold at DJE Media or Charlie Veitch now, but if you read the court transcripts of either of those two individuals, I'm not surprised that you're shocked and gobsmacked. Stevie had something to say about Curtis Arnold. He's a total skitbag, as he has hired a professional fighter to guard him from getting a smack in the teeth when out and about. Following in the footsteps of that little American boy, forget what his name is now, the guy who was running OnlyFans channels for all of his harem of women and taking 80 to 90% of the revenue from them. And he would walk about like this, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And bump into people. And he had a huge big black bodyguard, this great big black guy who looked fearsome, who would walk about, and as soon as this skinny wee guy, forget his name, would have someone react to them, the big bodyguard would step in the way, and then this wee guy would, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So, like him, people who don't have the balls to go out and film themselves, like Curtis Arnold, are now employing guys to be their bodyguards. So I suppose the bodyguards are just thinking, well, look, it's a job, I'm getting paid, it's easy money. I walk about with this idiot and I look tough, and if anybody comes up, I just glare at them and they back off. But the problem for the bodyguard is that if they get into a situation where they have to use hands-on, that could be very, very tricky for them. Very tricky indeed, especially if they are SIA certificated. So watch this space. Right. Rob says, once again, I think it's fair to say most auditors are hard right-wing too. I won't disagree. I disagree with most. I don't disagree with it, but you can't say most unless you actually have the stats to back that up. But what I do agree with is, from some of the videos that I've seen from some auditors, they appear to have very hard right tendencies. And you'll find a lot of auditors are now, as well as being in the city centres, they are attending protests and filming there. And they are also turning up at the hotels that are boarding, or the hotels that have been turned into refugee centres. They're turning up at those. And it does seem that from the videos that I've seen that those particular auditors do have a hard right stance. Now, I don't care what your political affiliations are. You can be right, you can be left, you can be neutral. Doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is how you behave to your fellow man. You can be right wing, and if you treat your fellow man humanely, with equanimity, and in a fair manner, then it doesn't matter to me. You can be right wing as you like. The same with left wing. As long as you treat everyone with equanimity, I'm fine, or equity. I'm fine with that. So as far as politics are concerned, that I don't care what your politics are. I only care about how you treat your fellow man. Public, you make some great comment points, but I don't want to keep bringing your comments up here all the time, even although you have good points. Right, Rob says they all have those electric bikes. I suppose that the electric bikes are... Did that put... It's not popping up now. Oh, I think that's frozen. My comments... Have I frozen? Have I gone off? Right, maybe I can't bring that up. Right, it seems... Oh, there's the pop-up. Oh, they've started working again. The pop-up stopped working, but they started working again there. Right. Using copyrighted music will cause demonetisation. Right? Yeah, I've spoken about that enough tonight, and certainly spoken about it in many videos on my other channel. Right, let's have a look further on down the line, because it's only 20 past 8, but I'm going to be thinking about wrapping up in about 10 minutes, because I've got other things to do tonight. Right, Charlie Veach is a wrong one. We've done that, right. So Rob asks, do you think there will be a change in law to protect people more from being effectively bullied by auditors? No, I don't think so, Rob, because although we don't have a constitution and we don't have any amendments to the constitution, so we don't have like the First Amendment, which allows freedom of speech, including public photography, in law we can film in public to a certain extent, with caveats. You still have to, you're not allowed to film in public if it's causing distress or alarm to anyone. And someone can absolutely be distressed and alarmed, particularly by Charlie Veach's behaviour in city centres. Some of those vulnerable people that he is targeting with his camera are distressed, alarmed. So therefore, Charlie Veach could be an offence that he's committing. The problem we have is that the police don't seem to want to act on it. It's maybe too difficult for them to get into the intricacies of the law, and they just don't want to get involved. And while the police don't get involved in it, it allows people like Charlie Veach and Curtis Arnold to kind of run free and film whatever they want, which is not. The auditor will tell you, I'm allowed to film whatever I can see from a public place. That's not the full story. That's true only with the other caveats and restrictions involved in that exact legislation. And they always leave that out. So there's a lot more to that law than the auditor will tell you. So to answer your question again, Rob, I don't think there will be a change in law, because the law is already in place that allows the police, if they act on it, to stop the auditor from doing what he's doing. The law is there already. So there's no need to change any law or add a new law. The law is there. It's just that the police won't act on it. And if the police don't act on it, the courts can't deal with it. So that's the problem we have. What we need to see is the police actually dealing with this more effectively, and then the courts issuing, on conviction, harsher fines or imprisonments or community orders or whatever. That's what I think needs to happen. Dave, good evening to you, Dave. You probably posted this hello message a wee while ago. I'm running behind because I'm getting a lot of comments in now. But hello to you, how are you doing? And Dave follows this up by saying there is another Scottish auditor. He copies DJ audits to the point he even places key rings. It's quite sad, really. I think I know who you're talking about. And if you're just in, Dave, you've probably missed there is a viewer in the chat here. I don't know if he's still in or not, who was at a location where that auditor, Scottish auditor, I think you're talking about, was at on the day that he did an audit video. And I'm going to hopefully arrange to meet up with this, not the auditor, but the person who was there on the day that it happened, and have a chat with him about it, if it's the same guy that we're talking about. Right. I'm looking through to see if there's anyone other than Rob, JW, or Public who are making any comments, because I don't want to keep putting their comments up all the time as I have been doing. So Stevie and Dave had a wee chat here. Dave says his attitude is just as bad, if not worse, than DJ audits. He had a go at me in one of his videos. I complained to YouTube and YouTube removed that particular part. Dave, just send me a message later on if you don't mind to remind me who that was. And I'll maybe next week when I'm back on live here again, I'll maybe do a wee follow-up chat about that. Public says apologies, but you're fetching up comments I've posted ages ago while you was talking about that subject. I'm sorry. There are so many comments coming in that I know I'm way behind. What I'll do is I'll scroll past them all and I'll go to the new ones. Right, Scott from Wales says goodbye. That was probably a while ago. Or maybe that was just recently. I'm meant to be working. We'll message you once you get time. Thanks, NW. I look forward to hearing from you. Right. Sully says to Dave, I hope you're recovering nicely. I think Dave has recovered. If you're talking about that incident that I made the video about, that happened a couple of years ago, I think it was, Dave, with the 4 French sailors, where Dave got beat up through no fault of his own, and then was charged himself and had to pay a fine. If you're talking about that incident, I think Dave has recovered from that. If it's another thing, then I don't know anything about that. Rob says, I agree this would be a really good stance for people to take. So, for example, the lady in Swindon video could have said you're causing me alarm distress. Yeah, if we're talking about the same lady in that Swindon video, I don't know if we are talking about the celebrity she was on, one of these celebrity shows. She's a multi-millionairess and high profile. And one of the auditors went onto her property, and I think she threatened to shoot the drone out of the sky with a shotgun. I forget her name, but she's a peach. I like her. Right, so I am up to date with all of the comments. So right. I've spoken about, I'm not going to speak about the Egger plant, I'll save that for next time, once I've spoken to Scotland from Above. I'm going to look back at around 23 minutes for audio dipping, but I think that was your end, not my end. And I've got here to remember to mention and how his channel is bad content. Bad content. What was I going to say about that? Aye, right, here we go. I'll mention this auditor by name as well. So most auditing channels, and I can say most because the stats are there to back this up. Most auditing channels have a huge number of subscribers, and each video they post gets a huge number of views. Not all of them. Some of them have, you know, under 10, under 20,000 subscribers, which makes them a very small channel, just like mine. Like my main channel is a very small channel. And some of their videos may only get between 6,000 and 10,000 views, which is still a great number of views if you have the RPM and the AVD to go along with those views, which they don't, right? But because most auditors have massive channels, they seem to think that that makes them a great YouTube creator. I'm a great YouTuber. Look at the size of my channel. I've got 73,000, 74,000 subscribers. My videos are watched 100,000 times every time I post one. I'm great. That was the claim from PJ Audits, right? He claimed that on a few, he's mentioned it to people, yeah, I've got 700 videos uploaded and I've got thousands of views and 74,000 subscribers. And he thought it was a badge of honour because he was a great YouTube creator. But he's not. And here's how I can prove it. For whatever reason, he stopped auditing for a while. Now, I noticed that he had hundreds, millions of views removed from his channel. Millions. Because I follow the analytics of a lot of different channels. And he had millions of views removed. And he had a lot of personal trouble, personal problems over a few issues, which I'm not going to go into. You can Google him if you like. But when he stopped auditing, he started making other types of content, like lifestyle content. They did miserably. They were gaining 600 views. It was going nowhere. He tried it for a wee while and it just was not working at all. What did he do? He went back to auditing and got his thousands and thousands of views again. So what does this tell us? It tells us that the success, or it's not a success, but the size of his PJ Audits channel is nothing to do with the quality of his YouTube creating ability and editing and stuff like that. It's all about the content is just what people want to watch confrontational content, so they watched it. It's not about him. He's no good because when he posted lifestyle content, no one watched it. No one was interested. When he went back to his auditing, his views are way up again because it's the content people are interested in. They'll watch confrontational videos no matter who. They probably don't even know who it is that they're watching. People who watch confrontational videos get them popping up on their screen. They just pop up on the screen all the time. So they'll just click on them. They probably don't even know most of the time whose channel it is that they're watching. So auditors with huge big channels doesn't make them good YouTube content creators. They just think it does. So that's what I just wanted to mention that, and I've done it now, so I can delete that from my memo list. And a lot of people will think, it's just sour grapes because you don't get a lot of views in your channel, and you've not got the same number of subscribers. But if you're just in and haven't heard what I said earlier, and you can watch this back, and I explain how It doesn't matter whether you've got 1,000 subscribers or 1 million subscribers. It doesn't change the ad revenue that you get from your videos. It doesn't change how successful your channel is. Right. It's 8:30, okay? KJB40, I haven't said hello to you yet. I've just seen your post there. Do you think Curtis will end up losing his channel the way he was going? Yes, I do. I absolutely do. And in fact, I believe there's a behind the scenes contingent of people who are already working towards contacting YouTube with Curtis Arnold's history and comparing that with the types of videos that he makes now to show to YouTube that this is not a person and this is not content that they should have on their on their platform. And if they go ahead and do that, there's every chance that he may have his channels removed. I wouldn't be surprised. Right. Aye, there you go. Auditors, Adventures with Sog says, auditors aren't great creators unless you're talking about creating drama. Yeah. Listen, any fool with a camera and a mic could go out and create confrontational conflict. If I wanted to, all I'd have to do is jump on the train, go up to Glasgow with a camera on a stick, walk up Buchanan Street or Argyle Street with my camera and start pointing at homeless people, vulnerable people. I'd have a confrontation within seconds, right? Shouting back and forth. And in Glasgow, there'd probably be physical violence as well. That wouldn't, I'd have viral videos going out my ears. Any fool can do it. It's not difficult. It doesn't take any intelligence. It doesn't take any creativity. It doesn't take any skill to make an audit channel with audit videos. Anyone can do it. But there's no point. There's no ad revenue. There's no money in it, right? There's only kudos gained within that community of other people saying, oh, I wish I had a big channel like him. But they're all backstabbing each other all the time anyway. Next week I'll maybe talk about how the auditors all backstab each other all the time. I'll talk about that next week if I remember, right? So, Surly Dev, if you wouldn't mind emailing me about this and we can have a wee chat there, more personal about that. I'm always interested in audio, the audio world, because I'm a music producer. I'm always interested in that and how it works. So I'd be interested in having a chat with you. Right. Before I go, I just want to show something on my other screen. Hopefully it'll work again. There. Most of them are premium videos, which means you'll need to subscribe to the platform itself. You don't subscribe to channels there. You subscribe to the platform. You don't have to, but if you subscribe to the platform, you get to watch all of the content that's on there, the free content and the premium content. Most of my content is premium, and that way I get paid for my videos. But there are free videos on my two channels up there, and there's lots of free content up there. And the good thing about it is there are no adverts. So you watch a video all the way through without it being interrupted. No advert at the beginning, no advert at the end, and no advert during the video, right? Completely ad free. So if you like to watch my videos on my Windswept Robert channel, but you don't like the interruptions with the adverts that are there, and that's the way that I earn my ad revenue, then if you go to my other channels on this other platform, all of the content that I post on my YouTube channel, ad-free, no interruptions. It's the same videos, they're just uninterrupted by adverts. It would really help me out and support me to continue my creating. If some of you would go there and watch some of my videos on DEOVR, as well as the ones that I post here on the Audit Reaction channel and on the Windswept Robert channel. And if any of you would like to ever leave a super thanks or a super chat in the chat, you can't do it in this channel because I don't have enough subscribers for that yet. But when I'm live on my Windswept Robert channel, if you leave a super thanks, just £1 or that, it all helps. I will next be going live on Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock, out on location somewhere, I don't know where yet, on the Windswept Robert channel, where my drone camera will be part of the footage. So when I switch screens like this, we'll go to the drone camera, which will be up in the air somewhere. I'll then be live again on Sunday night on the Windswept Robert channel. That will be a call-in show, where you can type chat in the chat as you can now, but you can also call in and speak with me live in the air. It's free, won't cost you anything. And I'll then be going live again here on the Audit Reaction channel on next Wednesday, 1 week from today at 7 o'clock. Hope you enjoyed tonight's chat. Thanks to everyone for coming along, and I hope to see you in all of my other live streams that are coming up. Till then, cheerio the now.